Good morning, ENZC. What are y'all doing? It's Tuesday morning. Let's jump into this chart here. I want to lay out my thesis that I've been building up over the last, month maybe. And I want to break it down for you piece by piece. We're going to start here with the 3-month time range on the daily time frequency, right? And you've heard my thesis here of the multiple bottoms, right? And I wanted to give you some examples of these playing out, right? You can see this one being a multiple bottom that was unsuccessful, right? We've got, this is, what am I looking at? This is the regional banking KRE that's now on a nice little run. We can see this green, 1 bottom, 2 bottoms, 3 bottoms, 4 bottoms. Oh, a big old Kardashian sized bottom. And then we hit down here to double bottoms, 1 and 2. We hit that line and bounce up. And if you were catching it there, man, that was a nice run for people there. So let's look at another one. This is a multiple bottom with a little butt crack right there. We've got 1 bottom, 2 bottoms, a little bit of a butt crack that we'll call a 3rd bottom, but even though it broke, and then a 4th bottom, right? And this is on GBTC, right? Next, we will look at Coinbase, and we've got a multiple bottom, 1 bottom, 2 bottoms, 3 bottoms. That is purely Kardashian. Bounces really nicely. And so the thing is that we are looking at something similar, 1 bottom, 2 bottoms, 3 bottoms. And the question is, and it needs to be, will this hold? Will it be successful? Will it bounce? What the hoo-ha's going on, right? And I think that's really key, and there's nothing wrong for us asking those questions. We need to look at both sides, selling pressure and buying pressure, to get this. Now, someone asked me about the slow stochastic. Am I worried about that? Not at all. And the reason why is very fundamental for me with the way I use slow stochastic. I'm really not looking at anything in the slow stochastic that happens between overbought and oversold. Everything inside is just kind of mud. I don't base decisions on it. It's sometimes nice to look at and comment on, but we're not really looking at it. And the reason why is because we go back to the Wyckoff price cycle, right? Where we want something to come down into oversold, where people will start accumulating it, go into a markup phase where it's on a run, it hits an overbought where people then start taking profits, and then it comes down and repeats, right? And repeats. And so that is a very fundamental cycle that I'm looking at. And if you notice in this phase, we haven't gotten into overbought or oversold in these 3 months. Instead, we're just trading sideways. And so that's an important one for me. I will point out that the RSI on this is at this line. I drew this in. Each one of these moments here, where it then turned around very quickly for a short run. The Bollinger Squeeze is certainly one. We are below this line that I've drawn where there are significant squeezes in history, and we are looks like curving up. Finally, volume. Look at this. Volume is raising. And the moving average for volume is dropping. So that is interesting. We'll see where that goes. Let's jump into the 5-day, keeping it real, keeping it going. I want to do something here. I want to draw in a trend line to show you something that I think is interesting. So if we just, that didn't work, did it? All right, let's try that again. So there we go. All right, success. All right, so anyway, all I've done is I've connected my highs right here. Notice it looks like it's moving down really, really smoothly. And then look at that, right? Right there, we are outside of that trend. And I tell you, that's a squeeze. And look here, right? We have moved into oversold, right? We are oversold. So we're not in the mud anymore. We are now in a period of time where we would expect it to correct. This is the 5 days, so a correction here would be nice. And you can see here RSI curving up to the line that we drew, curving up, possibly going above. This could be a nice little setup for a run after we exit this trend line. Bollinger Band has gone down, is moving back up. You can see here volume has been rising. The moving average is now down below the volume bar. MACD is curving up. obvols curving up. I think there's a lot reason to be optimistic here. Now, I know no one likes Tuesdays, and I'm in that group as well. So we will see how it goes. Now, all of this brings me to my thesis, right? All of that was just kind of confirmation of things I'm looking at. But this is what I am true. Oh, that looks weird, doesn't it? Let's delete the hoo-ha out of that. Okay, so this is what I'm looking at and what I'm basing a lot of my optimism, my bullish optimism on. And this goes back to our old buddy Wyckoff, right? Oversold into a markup, into overbought, into a markdown with accumulation and distribution areas. And here we are very clearly on a 1-year weekly time frequency. You can see it's moved up, markup, 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 right? And then it came down, and now we're in oversold, right? This is that accumulation period, and we are now crossing over the orange, which is a moving average of this gray line, and that is generally considered a buy signal if it's crossing above, or a sell signal if it's crossing below. I'm sure lots of people wish they would have had the knowledge to sell right there, right? Or even before when we were. Anyway, yada yada yada. You know what I'm saying. And you know, I'm looking at this. Obvol's doing well here. You know, has maintained a pretty good run. I mean, even during this time, I think there's a lot of accumulation. People are talking about institutional investors. Someone tweeted out that that number has gone up. Anyway, lots to think about, lots to break down. That's my thesis. This is my take. These are the reasons why I'm remaining bullish on ENZC. And you know what? People are right and people are wrong. And I will have no problem admitting if things don't work out the way I see them. Or possibly, if something worked out a bit like this, where we have a little butt crack that comes on down, and then we get back to business. Regardless of whether you're bullish or bearish, I hope this was interesting to you, and I'm always open to feedback in the comments. Cheers, y'all.